Alright, so today is a super weird video concept. Basically, I have a random noun generator, and I'm going to generate a noun and try my best to talk about it for as long as is interesting. And I'm going to play Battlefield 1 while I do it. So I'm going to get into the game a little, and then I'll pick my first word after I kind of figure out where I'm at. So this is super violent looking. So my first word is tooth. Okay, so how do I talk about teeth? So I guess I can go dad mode. Fun fact, my son has really interesting teeth. They're not too crooked, like he needs braces, but he doesn't need them that bad. But he has extra teeth. This is a thing that you don't realize until you're footing a dental bill for somebody. Like, this is a very family thing. But he had this like giant. They said, all right, well, there's a tooth coming in under. Why is everything in slow motion? I'm dying. That's why, probably. They said he's got a tooth coming in under his regular teeth. I'm like stuck in a corner. And we need to remove it. So, you know. So expensive surgery. Gets it removed. And they bring this thing back. And it's like a fang. It's huge. And I was like, how did he have this in his mouth? It looked like a tiger tooth or something. Like it was huge, and it's not even the first time, or it's the first time, but it's not even the last time that that's happened. He's had like 3 of them. Well, I'm exaggerating, probably like 2, but yeah. So you know, it's a good thing I have dental insurance because this kid is expensive. Okay, so there's my first death. It told me that it expected me to die, so there's that. Alright, so my next word is orange. Use the imagery! Swing the ground! I am not fond of the smell of oranges. I live near an orange juice factory, and so it constantly smells like slightly sour oranges all the time. I guess because they have them like sitting out or something. But my wife loves the smell, and I absolutely can't stand it because it's almost constant. You just go outside and it smells like a super strong smell of oranges, which I don't find appealing. As far as the fruit goes, my daughter loves to peel oranges, but she doesn't love to eat them. So she'll promise I'll eat it. Just give me an orange. And then she doesn't. Just to let her do it, though, because it's cute. And I usually just end up eating the oranges.
We're just a big fat target for that thing! Move, driver! Go around!
Got some fire. This is a pretty brutal game. My next word is meal.
With the rest of the armor.
I need to get better about meal prepping. That's a big one. Because I'm not great with things that require consistency. I look at them all. You know, like cooking on Sundays for like the following week. That's a big one. Why not? Who am I even supposed to be shooting? This game is chaos. I'll shoot you. Oh, that's bad. That's pretty bad. Why are these guys like so bulletproof? Here, have a grenade. So yeah, meal prepping, big thing. Gotta work on that. Well, my word is midnight, so I guess I'm gonna talk about sleep. We'll start with today. I went to bed at a decent time last night. But my wife set an alarm yesterday with this. She has this alarm clock that's like extra loud, and it has like a piece that goes under the bed that like vibrates, and it's like an as seen on TV alarm clock. It's like gimmicky and crazy, and she set it for getting up for work, but she's off today. So we go to bed around like 10:30, 11 o'clock last night. I'm gonna get some coffee real quick. So we go to bed at like 10:30, 11 o'clock last night, and her alarm goes off this morning at 4. And she turns it off and goes back to sleep, but I'm just up at this point. Like there's no going back for me. So I get up, I do some cleaning, download this game, and I'm like, you know what, I'll just do some recording. So it's like 5 a.m. I've been up for an hour and a half ish, and E-Tool. Oh my gosh, this is depressing. And I'm just drinking iced coffee at 5 in the morning, playing some Battlefield. So yeah, that was what I had to say about Midnight.
The war is the world.
Watch some cinematics now. While I talk about system. It's an interesting word, system. Describes a lot of boring stuff. I think everything's a system. Everything is a system of systems. Everything's connected. Nah, but really, when I was in the military, I used super powerful, expensive computers because I did satellite imagery, and we had to be able to render and process enormous images at multiple zoom levels and all of this stuff. So we had like dual Asus gaming monitors and just like super high resolution everything. It was really cool. So those are the coolest systems I've worked on, probably. My next word is feedback. Feedback is important. I received some feedback at work the other day. I was, because I work at Starbucks right now while I'm going to school, and I'm trying to skip this. And I was on bar, meaning I was making drinks for an entire shift for the first time the other day, and I was told that I did a great job, which was cool because it was like 2 days prior that I had been working on it, and then they just approached me later and called me out for doing a good job, which is cool because I also didn't think I was doing a very good job. So, but it's important that you give people both positive and negative feedback, because people are not going to, I think that people generally do not their best always, but they try to do a good job. And a lot of people, if they have a deficiency, are acting through ignorance. So if you politely inform someone of something that they need to work on, a lot of times they will. Maybe that's a glass half full approach, but that's just kind of how I feel. When I was in the military, I tried to give positive and negative feedback to my service members, because I always want people to know when they're doing a good job on something, and I always wanted people to know where there's something that they could improve. Okay. Alright, so just so you know, I'm not reading these words ahead of time and then thinking of something to say. The fun of this for me is to pull the word up and immediately start talking. Oh, here we go. I don't see anything. Excitement. Oh, this is a good one. I like this. Repair. We have to hold it? Okay. Yes, the tank breaking down simulator. Very exciting. Cool. Alright, so excitement, the first thing that comes to my mind is PC building. Because I am currently speccing out to build my very first PC. I have pretty much all the parts picked out. I don't know them well enough to like rattle them off exactly, but I do know some of them. So like, I'm using an AMD processor. I have a 1080 Ti graphics card that I got for free from a friend of mine, which I'm super excited about because it frees up a lot of the budget for other stuff. And you know, I found a super cool case, and I'm gonna do like a mechanical keyboard. Like, I'm just really excited because once I do that, how do I switch weapon again? Why? There we go. Once I do that, I can start streaming. Because right now I'm doing everything off of my wife's MacBook, which is not like, I can only record at 720p, and I cannot stream because when I try to stream, the entire software just crashes. So I'm definitely excited to get a rig together that I can stream on, and I guess then the challenge will just be managing a schedule with my other obligations that I can stream on. But you know, that's different. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to work out. I am a tank. You are people. Tremble before me. Or stand right there and let me shoot you. I think the number one thing that I'm excited about right now, beyond the actual PC itself, is a desk chair setup. I found this, I don't know if this sounds lame, but I found this chair that's like for big guys. I found like a big and tall chair. And it is so wide and so huge and so comfortable. I'm excited to have that, and then a desk. I haven't had a desk in a really long time, and I don't know how I'm gonna set one up. I was thinking about getting just like a 2x6 piece of plywood. Oh, we want to go back. Okay, that's fine. I'm going. Alright. I was thinking about just getting like a 2x6 piece of like MDF, like particle board, and trying to get like a vinyl wrap to lay over it, and then putting that on top of a couple of cabinets, with some furniture risers, and making like a table that way. The other thing that I was thinking is to just buy like a cheap desk, and then maybe upgrade it later, something like that. But yeah, that, and for some reason I want a little cactus on my desk, like a succulent. I don't know why, just it feels like part of it to me. Definitely need a gaming succulent.
Now we take the next trench line.
My next word is assumption. So, should not make assumptions. You know, it's interesting because people always say that, but sometimes it's a good thing to make an assumption. It's not a good thing to be unaware of your assumptions. I think that's the mistake. You have to make assumptions sometimes because you do not always have time for perfect knowledge. You don't always have time to get every fact before you make a decision. But what you do want to be is, wow, I didn't know that was going to break apart like that. What you do have to do is you do have to know what assumptions you're making and be able to test them. So like, let's say you're making an assumption. I'm going to keep this vague. Let's say you have a set of assumptions, right? And you're operating by them, and things are not working out the way that you anticipated. then you need to test your assumptions, check your assumptions, make sure that you're not making any faulty ones. So it's not a bad thing to make assumptions, because making assumptions is like making an estimate. It's like a tool to help you do things faster. But you definitely need to be aware of what you're assuming and make sure that it's not a faulty assumption. I think people make a lot of faulty assumptions, and people rely on the assumptions of others. I'm gonna die. Oh dear. I'm gonna go over here for a minute. Just gotta go this way. What is hitting me? There it is. Whew. That was rough. So yeah, I think especially on like social media and stuff, people rely on the assumptions of others' arguments, and that's a recipe for disaster. So the next word is entry, and I'll be honest with you, kind of at a loss for this one. But one of the things that I like to say about myself is that I can talk about just about anything. So I think I'm going to take the word entry, and I'm going to go to barrier for entry. And I'm going to talk about gaming for a minute, because that's one of my topics. Who's shooting me? There it is. Okay. I need to repair. So like, PC gaming has a pretty high barrier for entry because the equipment itself is so expensive, but I also feel like, and I could be wrong, I feel like there's kind of a high skill barrier for entry into a lot of multiplayer games. A lot of PC gaming has, like really high level of operation, gameplay, shooters, and stuff like that. And for someone like me, time is a valuable commodity and not one that I have a ton of. Bedroom is my word. I can think of a lot of things to say. And this isn't necessarily a family channel, but let's keep it PG. I need a lot of work on my bedroom. I need a bed frame, and you know, it's funny that it's like a thing. Like, show me your bed frame. That TikTok. I don't have a bed frame. I have a wife and 2 children, but I don't have a bed frame. And yeah, I need a bed frame. I need my desk. I have a TV. It's mounted. I need a dresser. I have really nice walk-in closets, which is cool. But yeah, I could definitely make my bedroom more of a living space instead of a just go there to crash at night space. And I need new sheets too, honestly. I need like 3 good sheet sets. Those are kind of old, you know. And there's something like, it's my favorite part about going to a hotel is fresh, nice, comfortable sheets. There's just something super homey about stuff like that. Talking about fresh sheets on this guy's human misery, trying to fix a tank. Do I really have to fix this tank from the outside right now? Oh yes. Time for a sip of coffee. Today we are drinking an iced Starbucks blonde, because blonde has more caffeine. And I'm very tired. New word. I'm having so much fun with this, by the way. I like being put on the spot. Actually, that's not true. I don't like being put on the spot at all, but I enjoy this particular instance of putting myself on the spot for fun, with no pressure. while I'm repairing my tank, let me go to the next word. Possibility. Possibility is a cool word. Someone posted on Facebook the other day that in the midst of chaos there is opportunity. And I, of course, sarcastically jumped on there and said, to fail. But it's true that only in the situation where you have the opportunity to fail do you have an opportunity to succeed. And I think that right now, my life is full of possibility. So I said before that when I was in the military I did satellite imagery exploitation. Where'd that guy go? Here he is. There we go. Somebody's son. So I did satellite imagery exploitation, and right now I'm going to school for radiology technician. So I will be taking x-rays and MRIs and different scans and things like that. And then what I would like to do, and what I'm planning to do, is to just continue on with schooling to go to radiology school and be an actual radiologist. Because I figure, and I think I'm correct about this, it's going to be very similar to the workflow that I had when I was in the military, which is manipulating and exploiting images. Some of them are even shot the same way because I worked with radar imagery, and obviously like x-rays are like a form of radar, so and then MRIs are magnetic, so like it's a different imagery, but it's all the same kind of gig. I think that would be a really good job for me. So when I hear the word watch what gun? When I hear the word possibility, that's definitely what I think of. I think of the possibilities that I have going on in my life right now. So should I destroy these? Yep. Yep, that was a thing to do. I hope you guys are finding this as entertaining as I am. Okay, the next word is way. What the hell is that? Looks like a Robot Wars robot. The word is whey. I will talk about the word whey. Not whey like whey protein, but whey like W-A-Y. So, I wonder a lot of the time if I'm going about things the right way, if there's a better way to do things. And I listen to some like motivational type speakers and things like that. And I know people who, you know, have owned their own businesses and stuff like that. And I think one of the things that I've learned is that the best way to do something is to just start doing it. And then you'll make mistakes, kind of pivot, learn from those mistakes. But doing something the wrong way is 1,000 times more effective than not doing anything the right way, if that makes sense. So you're better off in the trenches, working on your business badly, making every wrong move, than you are perfectly planning a business and not doing anything. Which just makes good sense to me. But it's a thing that I used to fall prey to a lot. You know, there's an innate insecurity when it comes to putting yourself, your art, or yourself out there. You know, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? Like that kind of stuff. And that's what slows you down, keeps you from actually accomplishing things. So what's the right way to do it? To do it. What they used to say when I was in the little military training program I was in is, there ain't nothing to it but to do it. See? I can talk about any word. Watch this next one just completely trip me up. Tail. Like, again, it's like T-A-L-E, not like foxtail. Which I could talk about, but tail, T-A-L-E. Okay, so ever since I was a kid, my mom read to me, and not small books either, like big chapter books. And I remember I have fond memories of my brother and I, even when we were older, like even when I was like 13 and my brother was, well, younger than that. My mom would read to both of us, and we would just go sit in the library. We had a library, we called it, and so room in our, like a big octagon room in our house that had these like law office bookshelves, like floor to ceiling. It was just covered in books, and we used to go in there, and she would read to us. We'd lay on these couches and just listen for like an hour while she read. So that was a cool memory of mine from when I was a kid. Family reading time. So I've always been into stories. I've always been into writing. I've always been into things like that. And one of the creative kind of ways that I found to express that in a way that I haven't really fully realized yet, because I've done it a few times, but I haven't really gotten into it and done it consistently, is D&D, like tabletop role-playing game dungeon mastering. I absolutely adore games like that, and I love being the dungeon master, the DM, the game master, whatever you want to call him. I love... Uh-oh. Did that hit me? Okay. I absolutely love being the one who runs it. I love coming up with stories, and like, as you can see from what I'm doing right now, I like being, put on the spot and trying to figure something out. I'll give you an example. And again, this all just came from the word tail, but I'll give you an example. I have two players, they're husband and wife, and the husband in particular is the most creative person that I've ever played one of those games with. And I created this port town ahead of the game. And it was this super massive port, and there were all these interesting things going on, and there was this bar where there was a actual ship's mast through the middle of the bar. And there was like a shopkeeper, or not a shopkeeper, like a barkeeper, and all these different characters that I created and all this stuff, and I was totally ready for them to go to this bar. So we get to the port town, I tell them that they're free to do whatever they want, and I tell them about this place that they see, and they go, "Oh, that's great. Oh, we want to go shopping for bags." And I say, "Excuse me?" And they said, "Bags? We want like backpacks." So I said, "Okay, let's just throw out everything that I prepared and let me, on the spot, come up with a backpack shop for you." So I had to come up with shop, a location for the shop, items to be in the shop other than the bags they wanted, prices, a character for the shopkeeper, how he was going to act, all that kind of stuff, just right on the moment, because I said, "You probably have bags with you. You just came from, like your soldiers. You just came from like a garrison." They're like, "Yeah, we know, but we want new bags." Okay. Let's do another word while I repair. And let's get another sip of coffee. So the next word is actor. I've never been super into actors, honestly. I think it's a really cool job. And I definitely think that it would be an enjoyable job. But I think fame in general kind of sucks. I think it's probably enjoyable to be famous, but I think it's generally a bad thing for you. So like, I'll give an example, like shift work is cool. being the kind of person who's like, you know, like a firefighter or a cop or a soldier or one of those jobs, but I generally believe that most, if not all people, are healthier and happier when they're not doing that. I just don't think it's meant for people. I don't think it's a good thing for them. I watched my wife work shift work for a long time, and now that she's back on days instead of working nights, she's so much healthier, she's so much happier. I think it's one of those things that fame, I think, is just bad for people a lot of the time. At least the way that we do fame. Especially kids. I think fame is bad for kids. I wouldn't want my daughter or my son to be famous. It'd be like no way for me to protect them from everything, you know what I mean? If I had to pick a favorite actor, who would I pick? I know this is like a weird one, but I really used to like Kevin Costner a lot. I watched a lot of Kevin Costner movies when I was young, and I thought he was pretty cool. But now, Keanu Reeves is good. Everyone loves Keanu Reeves. He's like a national treasure. What's going on with this pigeon? You have got to be kidding me. I am the pigeon? I did not know that there was going to be a pigeon simulator. Alright. So, the next word is confusion. And that's a tough one. I think if I had to talk about confusion, I would probably talk about communication. Because it blows my mind how differently people can perceive the words that you put out. You can say something that you understand totally what you're trying to get across, and they catch almost a completely opposite meaning from it. It can start arguments, it can start fights, it can start like all kinds of issues. And being somebody who works with people all the time, you definitely have to be careful of stuff like that. Scout the camp, spot enemies. Once combat begins, your job is to keep Bess operational. So I go back now? Oh, I know what to do. So yeah, I think communication is hard. I'm also married. There we go. I'll just shoot that guy and then we'll walk back. See? That seemed to work. That's what scouts do, right? Just light the powder keg. Now I have to fix the tank. Okay. So this is probably going to be my last word because I'm about to finish up. But my last word is speaker, and I'm going to go with public speaker because when I was in the military... Oh, I'm supposed to go this way. When I was in the military, I was a intelligence specialist. At least half my job was just talking. I had to brief commanders, I had to brief once, even twice, once, a couple times a 4-star, and one time even the head of a national intelligence agency, which was a pretty cool day. I wasn't told until later that he enjoyed sharpshooting people, meaning he would listen to their briefs and then he would try to ask them questions that he thought they couldn't answer, just to like get them. And I wasn't told this until I was already briefing him, and then he started doing it, And I, as an E5, just politely and respectfully argued back. And eventually, he actually literally pushed his chair. What's in here? Actually pushed his chair away from the table and said, "All right, I yield. You've answered all of my questions." So that was a pretty cool victory for me. So I was never uncomfortable speaking in front of people because since I was young, I was a how do I fix the tank? Since I was young, I was a martial arts instructor, and being a martial arts instructor, speaking loudly and confidently enough to fill a room with your voice was already what I did. So it was pretty natural for me to move to intelligence briefings, because really that's just the same thing. You have to speak in such a way that people respect you and that they have confidence in the words that you're speaking, which was something that I just kind of had a natural thing for. I guess not natural, but it just became a thing that I was good at because of my job. All right, so I think that's where I'm gonna end it. I had a super good time doing this. I gotta see if I can edit it down. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed the game, let me know. Please comment. I love comments. I love talking to you guys. I love knowing that people are watching. So if you watch the whole video, throw me a comment. Say something. Say hi. Say whatever. And share the video to somebody, because something that I learned is that my videos do very well with my subscribers, but they do not go outside of my subscriber pool. So if you know anyone that you think would like it, share it with them. Have a good night. A good night, a good day, a good morning. Goodbye.